Hello everyone. Now we are going to discuss single phase half controlled semi converter bridge rectifier with RLE load. So as we already discussed, the semi converter is having two thyristors and two diodes. So T1, T2 and D1, D2. So during the positive half cycle, T1 and D1 comes into picture, and during the negative half cycle, T2 and D2 comes into picture. And their scheme of operation again depends upon the load current. And here you are having an RLE load, so it is an inductive and therefore the current will be lagging behind the voltage, and there is an EMF E. So the importance of the EMF E is that the instantaneous value of your source voltage Vs should be greater than E to get the corresponding thyristor to get fired. That means those thyristors becomes forward biased. So I can say that Vm sin alpha should be greater than E for the first instance of triggering the thyristor T, so that the resistor T1 becomes forward biased. And now this is a semi-converter. In the earlier cases, when we discussed about semi-converter, we did not have the freewheeling diode. And the effect of freewheeling diode is basically it is taken through the T1 and D2. When we are discussing with the RL load, we have already discussed that we are having this T1 and D2, which provides a freewheeling path for the current to flow when the source voltage reverses its direction. So the load on the thyristor T1 and T2, that is the voltage drop across two devices, can be avoided by connecting a single freewheeling diode. So the device losses becomes less when you're connecting a freewheeling diode. So the effect is the same. Either T1 and D2 is conducting, or you can say that in place of T1 and D2, we are making a single device to conduct, that is the freewheeling diode FD, when the source voltage reverses its direction. And now we will start with the scheme of operation of the semi-converter with RLE load. So during the positive half cycle, that is the VAB, that is A is positive with respect to the point B, you can say that the thyristor T1 can be fired at any instant of time when the source voltage Vs is greater than the EMF E, so that it can be triggered on because it gets forward biased. And let the thyristor is being fired at an angle alpha, just at the intersection of the instantaneous values of the voltage V and the EMF E. So this is nothing but your EMF E. So during that instant of time, the source voltage will be appearing across the load voltage, and therefore we can say that V0 is nothing but the Vs. So that is shown over here. Now at pi plus, that is at any angle greater than pi, what happens is that the point B is going to become more positive when compared to the point A, or else I can say that the diode D2 gets forward biased. So there is a conductive path through D2 and T1, but we are not looking at the current conduction through the thyristor T1 and the diode D2, because we already have a path for the current to flow which is made through the freewheeling diode. So ineffectively we say that if T2, T1 and D2 are conducting, we can also say that the freewheeling diode FD is forward biased, and therefore the current will start through flow. This I0 has a path to flow through the resistor R, LE and the freewheeling diode. So there will be a circulation path like that. So ineffectively you can say that these 2 points are short circuited. So therefore the output voltage V0 is 0 for this particular period. That is from pi to pi plus alpha. So the current starts increasing. The current starts increasing like this. It reaches pi, and after that it starts decreasing. So during this period of time, I can say that the freewheeling diode is getting conducting. So therefore, whatever the energy which is stored in the inductor is being dissipated in the resistance and also helps in charging the AM of E. So that is what is happening from the period from pi to pi plus alpha, or we can say that during the time when the freewheeling diode is conducting. Now we are going to focus from the period from pi plus alpha to 2 pi. So during that time again, the EMF, the Vm sine of pi plus alpha should be greater than E in order to get the thyristor T2 to be forward biased and getting fired. So now the thyristor is getting fired at an angle of pi plus alpha. Therefore, the conduction will be starting through T2, RLE, and then D2 and back to the supply. So it is coming from the point B and ending at the point A. So we can say that the direction of the current is opposite of the conventional current of source current IS. But you can see that the I naught is in the same direction. So therefore, that point of conduction is marked over here when T2 and D2 are conducting. So at 2 pi, the voltage starts reversing its direction, and then the point B is going to become negative when compared to the point A. So ineffectively we can say that the diode D1 gets forward biased, or there is a conductive path through D1 and T2. But we do have a freewheeling diode which will take care of that freewheeling path. So the current will start to flow through a less resistive path which is provided by the freewheeling diode, and therefore the conduction will be passing through the IFD, that the freewheeling diode current, through RLE and back to supply. So there will be a freewheeling path like this. So that is being shown over this particular portion. So this scheme is going to repeat it in every half cycle, and we will be getting the output voltage. Now we will be discussing about how we can draw the freewheeling diode current, IFD. That is nothing but this particular current, IFD. So that is nothing but we can directly draw it from the I naught curve. So during these portions, whatever is conducting through the freewheeling diode is marked like this. So that can be replicated over here in order to draw the freewheeling diode current. And the source current IS is flowing only when the V naught voltage is there, or I can say that during this particular period, that is when T1 and D1 are conducting, when T2 and D2 are conducting. Rest of the time, the current is passing through the freewheeling diode. And we have already marked it down here. During the negative half cycle, the current direction is opposite to the conventional direction of your marked current IS. So from alpha to pi, when T1 and D1 are conducting, it is positive, and when T2 and D2 are conducting, it is negative. Why? Because the current direction is opposite to the conventional marked direction of your source current IS. Now we need to draw the thyristor voltage, that is the voltage of thyristor T1 and T2. So when T1 and T2 are conducting, obviously the voltage of thyristor is 0. The next case is when from pi to pi plus alpha. So during that period of time, T1 and D2 are either conducting, or you can say that the freewheeling diode is going to short circuit T1 and D2 terminals. So effectively, the voltage of thyristor T1 will be 0. So in the same way, you can also write it down for 0 to alpha. And from pi plus alpha to 2 pi, your thyristor T1 is already reverse biased, and therefore the negative voltage will be appearing across the thyristor T1. So for VT2, Again, you can draw it in the similar manner like this. So this is the entire working of a half-wave control semi-converter with RLE load. Now we need to come to a conclusion of the average output voltage and the RMS voltage. So V naught is nothing but 1 by pi integral alpha to pi Vm sin omega t d omega t, which is nothing but Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. In the similar way, you need to derive the average, the RMS output voltage V naught RMS for the semi-converter with RLE load. Now we'll have a short comparison on the variation of the average output voltage as a function of the firing angle alpha for the semi-converter and full converter. So on the y-axis you are having the average output voltage V naught, and on the x-axis you are having your firing angle alpha. So in the case of the semi-converter, the average output voltage is given by V naught is Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. And in the case of full converter, the average output voltage is 2 Vm by pi cos alpha. So we can also refer to at what value of the firing angle it is possible to gain the maximum voltage when compared to the semi-converter. And also we already had a discussion on the difference between the semi-converter and the full converter, where semi-converter is a 1 quadrant operation and full converter is a 2 quadrant operation. So that is why the average output voltage has a negative value in the case of a full converter, but that is not applicable in the case of a semi-converter. Thank you.